So,
Welcome to the Weather Insights Briefing. I'm meteorologist Scott Pitney along with meteorologist Jeff Lindner. We are recording this Monday, March 3rd, 2025. Jeff, practically the whole state of Texas is under some sort of advisory, watch, warning. We got a lot of weather going on. And we're going to start off with the water vapor image, the satellite image. And you can see that dry air starting to move in the western part of the state as that low is developing in the four corners. That's going to move across to the east as the front being occluded just north of that. And then another low is expected to develop just south of there. But the bottom line is there's a lot of warm moisture out in front of it, but there's going to be a lot of wind and dry air behind this front. And for that reason, West Texas all the way to the hill country, break this down, the uh, high wind warning or red flag warning is the sort of magenta pink area. And then you have the high wind warning just to the north and west of that for West Texas, then a wind advisory for most of East Texas. And the only counties really that aren't under any kind of wind or high wind warning or red flag warning are the ones along the coast in South Texas. So a lot of wind, a lot of potential fire danger with this, especially in the hill country. Most of the state, that part of the state, and anyway, under a drought. You can see it right here on the drought monitor. These are updated every Thursday. So this is as of last Thursday. And again, most of East Texas not under a drought, including Harris County, but you don't have to go very far west to get into the extreme drought, which is there in the red in the hill country. That's the area that's most concerning, especially with all the trees and timber and so forth in that area. Then you have the brown area that is exceptional, and the orange area, which is severe. But bottom line is, most of the state of Texas is under some sort of drought or dry condition, except for a small area of the panhandle there. And then again, extreme South Texas. So a lot going on here. And also with this front moving through, especially in North Texas, north of the Houston area, need to be weather aware tomorrow for potential severe weather as well.
yeah, I think the main story tomorrow is going to be fire and
Yep.
potentially for a lot of fire. I don't think I have seen a fire weather day this bad in the state of Texas since probably 2011
Mm.
when we had the fires in the Bastrop area and those areas. And so I think we are in for a very rough day tomorrow. You can see if you just look at this map from extending all the way over here, this is all wind advisory.
Hmm.
From the Ohio Valley all the way back down to Texas and then all the way up north. Blizzard will happen on the north side of this, severe weather on the east side of this, and you get this dry air sweeping in tomorrow afternoon from the west with fire weather conditions here across south central Texas. Again, probably the worst I've ever seen going back probably to 2011. We have to go
Hmm.
back to see something this magnitude, and really it's not so much where the drought is right now. The issue out here in Central Texas, this has been a multi-year drought. We all know how low Lake Travis is and some of the Highland Lake chains out here that they have been dry for years.
Hmm.
And those cedar trees and the some of the other live oak trees and some of the vegetation out here has been cured, what we call for years in this situation. And so it's not going to take a lot tomorrow with the wind and the very dry air. We're talking humidity values falling below 15%, maybe even as low as single digits out here along the Rio Grande Plains and the Texas Hill Country tomorrow afternoon. On top of that, winds of 40, 50, maybe even 60 miles an hour, which is almost unheard of down here in South Central Texas
Yeah.
without a landfalling tropical system. And so, if you go back to 2011, we had winds of 30, 40 miles an hour in September on the backside of a tropical system that was making landfall in southwest Louisiana. This is magnitude stronger than what we faced back in 2011 with respect to the wind field. And it is very rare to see this type of wind this far south with a low pressure system. As a matter of fact, some of the statements coming out this evening from the Weather Service office in Austin, San Antonio, was saying this is the upper end magnitude of wind. Looking here for the Hill Country, Rio Grande Plain into the I-35 corridor. So not only are you talking about fire, rapid spread of fire, we're talking fire conditions like we don't see here in Texas very often, but you're also talking about potentially just wind damage
Mhm.
occurring from the strong winds coming in. And this not with thunderstorms. This is just the wind blowing, the pressure gradient as this core of the jet stream cuts across Texas as we get into tomorrow afternoon. And this is going to pull across those critically dry fuels. So this is the fire danger from Texas Forest Service for tomorrow, the 4th. And you can see here, if you drew a line about where the Brazos River is, kind of west of the Brazos River, it is either extreme or very high. And just look at the amount of real estate here. We're talking in the worst category, this extreme category here for fire. And so not only are we worried about frequent and multiple starts of fire, but then rapid spread, excessive spread, where ground crews will not even be able to keep up with it. This will be uncontrollable wildfire tomorrow.
Yep. Yep.
And of course, the big concern here, Waco, Austin, San Antonio, Victoria. These are kind of your bigger population centers into this. This could definitely be a situation where we see fire develop out in maybe some of the rural areas and burn its way into some of these what we call the urban interface areas. So where your kind of rural lands go into your urban areas, or where some of the homes and structures are kind of built out into that rural interface. That is going to be a big challenge tomorrow with this. The other thing you got to think about with the winds, 40, 50, 60 miles an hour. Air assets are going to have a very difficult time. That's above the threshold for, say, flying conditions. And so there may not be a lot of support from the aircraft that can come in and be utilized in these types of situations. And so tomorrow, late morning, midday, afternoon, into the early evening hours, if a fire gets going out in this area, it is going to be almost completely uncontrollable. And so this is about as dangerous of a fire situation
Yeah.
as we see here in Texas. And this is the HER. We show some model guidance sometimes, but this is, within now, 12 hours. And look at this. We got a 987 millibar low here,
Wow.
south of Kansas City. This is about equal to a category 1 hurricane.
Yeah.
And you can see this tremendous mid-level jet coming in down the backside of this low. And this is wind speeds in knots. So you got to multiply these wind speeds by about 1.15 to get you in miles per hour. So we're talking all of this here in the yellow is anywhere from 30, 35 miles an hour. The orange is 40, 45, 50, maybe even gusting here 50, 55. And this is around noontime tomorrow. This really strong wind coming across the hill country and then into that I-35 corridor. We're a little bit fortunate maybe here in Southeast Texas and Harris County. Again, if you kind of draw that line where the Brazos River is, the winds pick up significantly west of the Brazos River, and then over here off the coast of Louisiana. But right here locally, we have a little bit of a minimum in the wind field with a little bit of a trough axis through here. The other
Hmm.
thing to show you is the dew points. So this is, look at this. Look at this dry slot pouring in. You can
Wow.
clearly see the front. Here's our
Hmm.
surface low up here. Here's the front. Dew point of 68 over around the Beaumont area. How about 20 degrees over towards, say, San Antonio, 15, 20 degrees of dew point. So this is going to equate surface temperatures, in the low to mid 80s, dew points in the teens. This is going to result in humidity values tomorrow afternoon, west of the Brazos River, anywhere from 10 to 15%. We may even be lower than 5% out here in the hill country. So, any moisture that's and there's not a lot to begin with, but any
Right.
moisture that's in any of these grasses or trees is going to completely evaporate and be very readily available to burn. And the other challenge we have this time of year is our grasses are dormant. So all of our grasses have been killed and they're dormant from the recent freezes. And it only takes the smallest of spark to set those grasses on fire. And in these types of conditions, it will get out of control extraordinarily fast. Um, and there's a lot of potential tomorrow to see some things here that we have not seen in this state in a long time. At least since 2011, potentially. It's interestingly enough, it was just a couple days ago, last year is when we had that big wildfire up here in the
Yep.
Texas Panhandle, 1 million acres burned. And so it can happen this time of year. This is the setup, but boy, we have not seen a setup like this down in the more urban corridor of the I-35 hill country area. Up here in the Panhandle, it's much more rural, so you can burn a large amount of acreage and not really threaten a lot of structures. That is not the story down here in South Central Texas and the Texas Hill Country. There's a lot of potential structures embedded within that wildland interface down here that can create challenges tomorrow. So tomorrow's going to be a day you got to really pay attention. Evacuations may be needed, and they may be needed with very little notice. You may have very little time to get whatever you're doing and get out if these fires get going.
Yeah, certainly don't give Mother Nature any help. Anything that's dangling from your car that might cause a spark or anything like that, it doesn't take much in these conditions. You mentioned 2011, Jeff. Every time I think of 2011, I think about the Drought fires and the damage it caused there. So, high alert tomorrow for fires, also for severe weather. And a lot of folks may not know, but the Storm Prediction Center, they have a person, a meteorologist manning that fire desk 24/7. They are watching fires 24/7, and they're responsible for the whole United States. We're watching it, but we need to do our part too, and just be weather aware and like I said, don't give Mother Nature any help. So we will keep you posted right here on developments with the weather. You can check us out on the Weather Insights YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe and turn on the notifications so you can get the alerts. Also, check out our Weather Insights website for the latest blogs. Jeff, thank you very much.